That was a lesson that I learned in this early in this relationship when we were figuring out the dynamic of it. Because my first instinct also was the same. It's like, she's got to toughen up. She don't like, and it's like, no, that's not the right way at all.
She can,
yeah,
but you're not going to like it because the other things get muted.
Yeah.
So like, I think men really need to think about that. And I get, even as a woman, how it can be a lot when a woman is emotional. I get that. And she should be working on regulating herself and, expressing her emotions in the right way and be like, you need to toughen up. She's going to do it. And then she's going to go back to the other side.
Exactly.
And then how are you going to get her back over here when you told her to toughen up?
Well, it's funny because the number one complaint I get from guys when I'm coaching them or when I'm talking to guys about their women is that they can't handle life. They can't handle things. They're not tough enough. Mm-hmm. And I'm always like,
you're supposed to be the tough one.
Right.
That's what you should say to them. You're supposed to be the tough one.
I'm always like, don't try. I get it. Like, I get it. Like, I understand that if she had to live a day in your shoes, if she knew how the real world worked, all of these things, right? It's like, yeah, but you're shielding her from that. That's what you're doing. It's like, because, look, if you weren't there, she would have to deal with life, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe she wouldn't deal with it as good as you are dealing with it, and maybe she wouldn't be growing some business or doing whatever, but she'd be surviving, right? But the whole point is that you're shielding her from it so that she doesn't have to be in her masculine and deal with life, and she's in her feminine, and she can be feminine, and that's why you're creating that protection instead of thinking, oh, I need to get her to toughen up, or that's not the thing. Right. So, which is something that I feel like that was a lesson that I learned in this early in this relationship when we were figuring out the dynamic of it, because my first instinct also was the same. It's like, she's got to toughen up. She don't like, and it's like, no, that's not the right way at all. As a man,
that's a surefire way to get your woman to act masculine.
Exactly. That's exactly.
And a lot of women or men say that to the women that they're with.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, the thing is, you can't ask for a feminine woman and then treat her like she needs to toughen up.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Because she will do that, but you're not going to like it because it's not going to be feminine.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's because you're basically saying toughen up in the way of how a man would. Yeah. Like, why are you letting this bother you? Like, don't do that. But women are emotional.
Yeah.
And they do care. That's like the part of them that is the feminine core.
Right.
That's what makes them mothers. It's like what makes them who they are. And so you can't ask for that and have those things without the trade-off of like, she's not going to be a man and she's not just going to do it, or she's not going to like whatever. Right. Like she can, but you're not going to like it because the other things get muted. Yeah. So like, I think men really need to think about that. And I get, even as a woman, how it can be a lot when a woman is emotional. I get that. And she should be working on regulating herself and, expressing her emotions in the right way. Yeah. But you have to realize that if you want a feminine woman, that is what it is.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's exactly right. Yeah,
and you shouldn't also talk down on her because she's doing what you supposedly want.
Right.
Because the thing is if you criticize a woman and be like, you need to toughen up, she's going to do it. And then she's going to go back to the other side.
Exactly.
And then how are you going to get her back over here when you told her to toughen up?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I remember early in our relationship, somewhere maybe in the middle, where I like with dealing with our daughter, and I was like, you got to be able to handle it, and I was kind of getting upset with you because you couldn't handle it, right? And I was like, and then I realized, no, that's not. I was doing the wrong thing by getting upset about you not being able to handle it, because it's okay that you can't handle it, because it's like the emotional part of it. Yes, and you don't have to, right? Like, yeah, there's certain things that you have to do, but it's okay that I can step in. I can take on the thing that you can't take on, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's great because I want you to be that way. I want you to be feminine, And again, it's not an insult. It's not to say that that you can't. You obviously deal with the things, but I'm just saying at an emotional level, right? It's going to take a toll on you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting upset about that at one point, right? You know that was right. And then, but that was not the right thing to do, right? Because, yeah, and that's something I had to learn was that I want it to. It's not that I want it to take an emotional toll on you, but I want you to be soft enough that stuff that affects you, that doesn't affect me, it affects you. Because that's the whole point. That's right. The difference is that, yeah, I could stand there and she can say whatever, not that she, but, there have been some instances, but all kids, and I'm unfazed. I can just go on and do my work and whatever. It's not a big deal. But in the same situation, yeah, I want that to affect you a lot more because I want you to maintain being soft and being like that, being caring and compassion and right. The thing that because one of us has to be the tough one and one of us, but we both don't want to be the tough one. That's not good. That's not good for anyone. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm able to do that in order to allow you to be the tough one. Whereas before I was almost seeing it as an inconvenience, like, okay, well now I got to deal with this. And it's like, no, it's not an inconvenience. It is what my actual job is, right? It's to be the one that stands in the front, that takes the hits, that has the shield and protects everyone else so that they can live their life without having to worry about having to protect themselves from